Stick around with me and I'll show you a useful tool for figuring out any note on the fretboard. Hey everybody, and welcome to Overdrive Guitar Channel. My name is John. Today we're going to be looking at a super useful tool, and that is octave shapes. I'm going to show you some of these shapes, and I'm also going to show you how you can use them to kind of master the fretboard, find your way, and find any note you want to. Now, if you follow the channel, you would have seen that my last video was about the importance of memorizing all the notes of the fretboard, and it was about kind of the best exercise that I know to effectively get you to memorize all those notes on every string quickly with, the least effort possible. So in that video, I mentioned that, I kind of showed you guys the general idea. I showed you guys the intervals and everything. What I didn't give you guys was tabs or a picture of the pattern, right? Because the way that or a big part of the process of burning these things into your brain is to actually have to find it for yourself, right? So I'm going to give you some tools called octave shapes. You can use them for other things too. People use them in their playing, maybe not in rock and blues so much, although you do hear it sometimes, like, bands like Whitesnake. Or Rick Derringer. But where you'll actually hear them directly played usually is in kind of a jazz context. But anyways, we're going to be talking about how to use them as a tool, like I said, to find your place or to find out what note you're landing on. I'm going to make this kind of process of you having to find the notes as easy as possible. And this process is going to be something that you need in the beginning, but the goal is to eventually go through this process so many times that it just kind of becomes an automatic thing, like second nature. That being said, another reason I didn't give you guys the diagrams is because hearing yourself play the wrong notes sometimes is as useful as hearing yourself play the right note, right? We are constantly working on things like ear training, whether we know it or not, when we're playing guitar. Alright, so one thing before we kind of get into the meat of this lesson, we're going to try to jump right into it because I got kind of a lot of info to get into this video. Please, my humble little channel needs support. If you could just give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. If you like what I'm doing, if you want to support me, click the bell icon to be notified when I drop content or go live. Should be starting live streams this week. Pretty excited about that, not gonna lie. Also, leave a comment. What are you struggling with in your guitar journey that you'd like to see a video on? Alright, so it's time to kind of talk about the meat of the lesson. First of all, some of you might be wondering, what is an octave? An octave is a note that has, for all intents and purposes, been doubled so that the function and the name are the same, but the sound is different. It's kind of an easy way to boil that down. Probably one of the most common octaves that you know is the open E string and the 12th fret, right? Or for that matter, any open string and that same string at the 12th fret. Or if you have a 24th fret like me, that is another octave, right? Now you might be thinking, I know another octave, E, the low E string to the high E string, right? Well, no, actually that is 2 octaves between the low E string and the high E string. So the pitch has been doubled, or the frequency that the string is physically vibrating has been doubled twice. So the guitar fretboard is nothing more than a repeating pattern. So I'm going to show you guys these shapes, and basically just always keep it in your mind with this and any other kind of concept you're learning on guitar, that, you know, if the fretboard was this tall and this wide and that long, it would just be the same patterns over and over again, right? Alright, so let's take a closer look at these octave shapes. Okay, so we're all zoomed in on the guitar. We're going to take a look now at our first octave shape. Our first octave shape is going to come off of the 6th string. Now we'll start from the 5th fret, right, the note A. And to find an octave, this is one that a lot of you might know already, right? To find an octave, we go down towards the floor 2 strings, right? And towards the body of the guitar 2 frets. Okay? And we can use this exact same shape on the 5th string. So here we have the note D. And 2 strings down and 2 frets up, we also have the note D. 1 octave higher. Now going off of this D note, again, we'll take a look at another octave shape we can use from the 5th string. So here's our D again. Now 2 frets towards the headstock of the guitar this time, and we're going to jump down 3 strings to our B string. Okay, so 3 strings down, 2 frets up, we have our D here, and we have our D down here. Right? Next shape from the D string. Here we have the note G. Now we're going to use the same concept as we did on the 6th and the 5th string, going 2 strings towards the floor, right? But this time, because the B string is tuned a 4th above the string next to it, right? All the rest of the strings are tuned to 5ths. So we have to go an extra fret, okay? So we're using the same concept, so it's almost the same shape, but because of the way the B string is tuned, we have to go down 2 strings and up 3 frets instead of 2. So 1, 2, 3, right? So like I said, we have our note G, and down here we have our note G. Okay? Now if we go down to the G string, the exact same thing applies. Because we have to cross over that B string and it's tuned a 4th, then the high E is tuned normally like the rest of the guitar would be. We still have to go up that fret to make up that space of the B string, right? So starting from down here on this note C, right? If we go down our 2 strings and up our 3 frets, we find another note C. And as anybody watching this lesson should know, on the E string directly above it, another C, right? So that's one way to look at how to use these octaves, but in my opinion, actually the most useful way is the exact opposite, right? We use it to find a note that we're not sure of, to find out the value of a note or the name of a note that we're not sure of. So let's pick out, say, a note on the B string randomly right here, right? Now, most of us know or can figure out, usually we already know the notes on the lowest string, or at least most of them, and the A string. That's because this is stressed really early on in our guitar kind of journey, because early in our guitar journey we're doing a lot of chord-based stuff, and we base most of those chords on the 6th or 5th string. So it's for good reason that a lot of us only know those 2 strings. But we're going to take advantage of that here. So this is our mystery note, right? Now we know we have an octave shape that jumps from the 5th string, right, or the A string, to the 2nd string or the B string, right? So if we apply that shape and we look at where we land, now even if you don't know what exactly the name of that note is, we're right next to our 12th fret, right? We're right next to that octave. So we're 1/2 step down from the same value as our open string, right? The same note name as our open string. We're 1/2 step down. So A flat, right? A flat, A flat. Okay, so there's lots of ways to use octaves, but I'm going to show you one more. Let's say you want to find every note of a certain name, right? Maybe you're playing a lead and you know what note you want to play, but you don't know the exact timbre or pitch of the note that you want. So you want to find all of, let's just use, I don't know, G, for example. You want to find all of the G's. Well, let's start with what we know, right? The most basic thing. We know our 3rd fret on both our high and our low E. We're going to find a G. Now, if we start applying these kind of octave shapes, we start to open it up a little, right? Let's try this shape. Okay, there's a G. Okay, there's a G. There's a G. Okay, we're just applying these shapes over and over again, and you can quickly find every note of a certain value on the fretboard and be sure that you haven't missed any, right? So there's a lot of useful information there to digest, and like I said, this is kind of to supplement the exercise that I have up, so I'll link that video in the cards. I have the video with the importance of knowing all the notes of the fretboard and the exercise to help you learn quickly. This is to kind of supplement that video. So if you're having trouble finding all those notes, use this method to help you out, or do with it what you will. So hit the like and subscribe if you enjoyed my video. Other than that, please come back and see me. Keep rocking.